Hello, my name is Rodney Bagby, and this is my persuasive speech. My topic today will be about organ donation and becoming an organ donor. People are dying every day with no hope to save them. These people are in need of an organ transplant. There are a numerous amount of people waiting on an organ transplant and a shortage of organ donors. While there are a lot of questions about organ donations, a lot of people are misinformed. In order to have the true facts about organ donation, someone needs to learn more about what organ donation is and how it works. Becoming an organ donor is not only an important decision for someone, but it's an important decision for the life that someone has the power to save. Organ transplant, stated by an article Organ Donation by Medline Plus, is when they take a healthy organ or tissue from a donor and transplant it to someone else that needs it. The organs that can be donated after death are the heart, liver, kidneys, lungs, pancreas, and small intestines. Tissues that can be donated are corneas, skin, veins, heart valves, tendons, ligaments, and bones. A healthy person can also become a living donor by donating a kidney, a part of their liver, their lung, intestines, blood, or bone marrow. I have some facts here that are stated by the American Transplant Foundation I'd like to share with you. One deceased donor can save up to 8 lives with an organ donation and can enhance more than 100 lives with a tissue donation. On average, 18 people die every day waiting on an organ, and 7% of the people on the waiting list die before they're even able to receive a transplant. There are more than 115,000 people in the United States that are currently on the waiting list for a life-saving organ transplant, and every 12 minutes someone is added. Some of the top diseases that lead to organ failure in a transplant are cardiomyopathy, cirrhosis, COPD, coronary heart disease, cystic fibrosis, diabetes, hepatitis, hypertension, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, polycystic kidneys, or short gut syndrome. A family member or friend may someday have one of these diseases and may be in need of an organ transplant. According to organdonor.gov, last year alone, organ donors made more than 28,000 transplants possible. Another 1 million people received cornea and other tissue transplants that helped them recover from trauma, bone damage, spinal injuries, burns, hearing impairment, and vision loss. Even with the amount of people getting transplanted, thousands die every year waiting for an organ donor that never comes. According to organdonor.gov, the average wait time for an organ is 113 days for a heart, 141 days for a lung, 361 days for a liver, 1,219 days for a kidney, 260 days for a pancreas, and 159 days for an intestines. I don't think people realize how long people that are in need of an organ transplant has to wait. You may have some questions about organ donations. Some common questions I found about from American Transplant Foundation website are: who can become an organ donor? Does the blood or tissue type have to match the recipients? Or what religion supports organ or tissue donations? Well, anybody can become an organ donor at any age. And it's easier to transplant an organ if the donor or recipient is a good match. Some medical centers can transplant an organ even if the donor and recipient does not have the same blood and tissue type. In that case, the recipient will receive special treatment to prevent his or her body from rejecting the new organ. With religion, most major religions support organ and tissue donation. Typically, religions view organ and tissue donation as an act of charity and goodwill. Donor Alliance urges the donor to discuss organ and tissue donation with a spiritual advisor if there is any concerns on this issue. These are just a few questions someone may have about organ donation. It is important to have all your questions asked so you feel comfortable about your decision. If you have any more questions about organ donations or want to learn more, you can go to organdonor.gov or go to the National Network of Organ Donors for answers. To become an organ donor is very easy. Organdonor.gov has listed some ways to become an organ donor. Some of the ways are registering with their state donor registry, Designate the choice to become an organ donor on their driver's license when you get them or renew them. Sign and carry an organ donor card. And tell the family and make sure they know your wishes about organ donation. The best way to ensure that your wishes are carried out is a living will. Becoming a donor is the easy part. The decision is the hard part. But becoming a donor provides a second chance at life for thousands of people each year with an organ transplant, and also can enhance millions of people's lives with tissue transplant. There are a lot of people that has gotten a second chance in life with organ transplant. I'd like to share a couple of stories with you today that I came across on the internet. An article called Stories of Hope on the Transplant Living website. One of them is Colin Amaro of Parmas, New Jersey, that was diagnosed with kidney disease in 1998. 5 months in her pregnancy in 2001, her kidneys began shutting down and she had to start dialysis immediately. It was a struggle for her on dialysis, but she made it through with the help of her family, friends, and co-workers. Then she received a call that a kidney was available and she got her transplant in December 18, 2004. After the transplant, she stated, "Thanks to the generous family who donated the kidney I received, I have been able to continue my life without machines. Donation is the greatest gift of all, and I've tried to promote this throughout my community to raise awareness and increase donor registry." With that kidney transplant, she has a second chance at life, and she is able to have the energy and time she needs to spend with her little girl and enjoy time with her family. A second person I'd like to share with you that received a second chance at life is Lenora Barber of Chattanooga, Tennessee. She was a 44-year-old surgery nurse that had to retire because she was in liver failure. The diagnosis was primary biliary cirrhosis, which is an autoimmune disease. In most of 2004, she lost 85 pounds and went from an independent person to a confused, weak, incontinent bag of bones. Because of some of the medication she was taking, most of her days consisted of sleeping or using the bathroom. She eventually started wearing diapers because she was too weak to go to the bathroom. Lenore went from fighting the disease to wanting to give up and die. Then she received a transplant that saved her life. Now she is alive today, busy and spending time with her family. She volunteers at her state's organ donor organization. And she also expresses that she wants everyone to become a donor. These are just a couple of stories that are posted on the internet. There are a lot of stories of organ transplant and people getting second chances in life on the internet and throughout the world. The article, A Story of Hope on Transplant Living website, there are 188 stories of people with gratitude that they or their family members received a second chance at life. That is just one website. There are more stories on other websites, blogs, and people in person that appreciate the ones that donated their organs and are alive today because of it. I know it's hard to think what happens to someone's body after they die, let alone think of being an organ or tissue donor. In the end stage of organ failure, organ transplantation has become an accepted medical treatment. Being an organ donor can save or improve many lives. It is a generous and worthwhile decision that can be a lifesaver. It has been said by Mayo Clinic, many families say that knowing their loved ones helped save other lives, helped them cope with their loss. We need to increase the donor registry. Just think, one day, someone close to you, like a family member or friend, may be in need of an organ transplant. By becoming an organ donor, we have the power to save lives even after we pass away. During the time I have given this speech, someone has already been added to the waiting list. It happens every 12 minutes. So take that step to become an organ donor, to give someone a second chance at life. If a family or loved one was in need of an organ transplant, wouldn't you want them to have a second chance at life? In fact, it may be you in the need of an organ transplant in the future. So take that step and encourage other people to do the same. Thank you. Have a good night.